Hi there, and welcome to the Surviving and Thriving in Residency podcast. I'm Charley Lowry, your host and director of GME Relations at PracticeLink. This show is all about exploring the world of graduate and undergraduate medical education. We'll dive into the real-life experiences, successes, and challenges faced by medical students, residents, and fellows, while also highlighting valuable tools to support you, whether that's financial planning, student aid, or the many free resources provided by PracticeLink. If you're thinking about med school, currently studying, or deep into residency or fellowship, this podcast is here to offer insights and support to make your journey a bit easier than those before you. Thank you for joining us today on Future Medical Docs. Today, I'm blessed to have two folks in the studio from St. Louis University. I have Andrés Mata and Gabriela Mata. They are both PGY3, and Andrés is internal medicine. Gabriela, you are interventional neurology,
Just
right?
neurology.
Oh, just neurology.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So thank you for joining us. I appreciate it. We have a lot to talk about tonight. You guys are a wealth of information for our listeners in the fact that you came in as a couple and that whole international medical graduate situation is a little bit different than most folks. So what I'll kick it off with is I would like to know what led each of you to pursue a career as a physician.
When I was little, I was always like watching the Discovery Channel, and I was very into science and all of this. When I was about to graduate high school, I wanted to go into art school. And so my mom didn't think this was a real career.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So she was like, but you're so good in science and all of this. You love it. She used to hate everything I watched on the TV because it was disgusting.
Okay.
And so she was like, why don't you try medical school? And so I applied to a few universities. I got in all of them. And so my mom was like, what? No one does this, so you need to pursue this. So I started. And then I started to like it, but then my dad was like, you finish what you start. So I finished, and I loved it. And I'm so thankful that they basically made me do it, but I enjoyed so much. I love it.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
So that's good to hear, right,
Yes.
at this point. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, in my case, I wanted to be a Formula One driver.
Okay.
That was my dream.
Okay.
I actually auditioned and everything, and I got sponsorship and everything. And
Oh, so I thought you were joking. But so this is being a
not
doctor.
for Formula One. I didn't audition for Formula One. I did it for go-karts. And
Sure.
Yeah. And it was a thing that we just couldn't make it happen. But my dad had health issues, and specifically, he had diabetes and he had hypertension, etc. And when I was like 13, 14, he kind of like was on and off, not really that much in the hospital. He went a couple of times, but with a lot of medical appointments. And he had this kind of like heart doctor who was his main doctor, internist and cardiologist. And I kind of like noticed that he really had like a great impact in my dad, but like we kind of like admired him really more. And everyone admired him, and he was like really important for our life, but then for everyone else's. And that kind of like really caught my attention. And I mean, I was 14. It was not like really a mature emotion, but I wanted that. I got intrigued for that.
It made an impact.
It made an impact. There was something in me that knew that was important.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to be important for people. It was a little bit kind of like, there was a little bit of ego, to be 100% honest.
Yeah.
But I also knew that that doctor was really important. And I knew that I could go. In fact, a couple of times we call him after hours and everything. So that kind of like led to it. And that's what I want to do. I want to do cardiology. And even though that when I went into med school, I thought I wanted to do plastic surgery, then once in med school, I rediscovered my passion for cardiology. So yeah.
Yeah. It changes, right? I mean, you go into med school thinking, oh, I'm going to do this. And then the right rotation comes along and you're like, oh, game changer.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely, definitely. Right rotation and instructor, there's so many things. Experiences, something, a patient, or as one experience could change drastically what you want to do.
Wow. Let's talk a little bit about medical school. So you two met in medical school. How was medical school in Venezuela? And What I'd like to know is, looking back on those years, what were the highs and the lows? If you could go back and change something, what would you change? What would you tell listeners to make their medical school journey a little bit easier, that maybe would translate globally, not just to the United States?
In Venezuela, medical school, it's a little bit different than here. You don't do like the college and then the medical school. You go straight into medical school.
Okay.
And it's 6 years.
Okay.
And once you graduate, you're ready to work, which is different than here. Here you need a residency to be able to work. So in Venezuela, we don't have a family medicine residency. We work as general practitioners.
Gotcha.
That's like the term family medicine is just like the general practitioner there. So in Venezuela, there's a lot of, especially the last couple years, it's focused in how you're going to work and reaching rural work, because it's what's most needed in our country. So
similar to here too.
Sure.
Very much needed. Rural areas.
Yeah, I guess that's everywhere. But we are required to go at least 1 year into a rural area as soon as you graduate. And that experience for me was so raw. And basically, I feel like that's lacking in medical school here. So I tell my medical students, and I would like to tell everyone, if you have the opportunity of, even if it's just a rotation or do something where you serve the underserved, where you like try to go somewhere where there are patients who have never seen a physician or don't even know what an aspirin is, or that gives you a sense of the pure humanity that's missing. I learned a lot from that, and I think everyone should go through it.
And it makes you appreciative, right?
Yes,
I mean, because
100%.
you see how people are struggling. You see how some folks have such a lack of medical attention. Yeah, I feel like here, I know you couldn't require in medical school for everyone to do an international rotation, but that would be ideal, right? It would be ideal for someone to go to underserved areas in the world and work. You know, delivering a baby in a third world country and not having the equipment and everything you have here is going to make you a completely different person.
There are some students that go, I think Texas Tech has a campus in Central America.
Okay.
I think they go, or they do have some sort of like social work. It's optional. It's not mandatory. But yeah, I think that for me, one of the highs, I did not do my year of social work because that's required only if you want to stay in the country. By the time that I graduated, we had met already, and we basically had decided that we wanted and kind of needed to leave Venezuela, but that's for another conversation.
Sure.
But one of the highs is the opportunity to take patient ownership as a student, under supervision, of course, but you kind of like develop that some sort of responsibility. There are your patients already. You, as a student, they are your patients. And you learn medicine, but you learn how to be a physician. And I always kind of like mention this example. I think it's very graphic. I had very good mentors that taught me, for instance, that to be aware that you start evaluating the patient once you enter the room. And they always used to say, it's not the same, for instance, patient A, let's put an example, a woman wearing like a super expensive watch, cologne, everything, right? And was there and with a driver who got her on time and everything, with the woman who was there, got a little bit late or maybe super early, with her 3 kids. And maybe she was just wearing sandals and one of the kids lost a shoe, and maybe she even has, sadly, a black eye or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And the way you're going to manage the two situations is completely different, and that is medicine as well. And maybe they went for high blood pressure, but you cannot treat them equally. They deserve the same honor and dignity.
Sure.
Both. They deserve the same respect, honor, and dignity, but the approach is absolutely different. And that is something that you learn, but you might learn it after you graduate, but is sometimes it's very useful if you have mentors who teach you that and if you are exposed to that. You mentioned something about the lows. I would say something that I do value about medical school here is that I think that you really have a good base of what you want to do, and you have a lot of resources and in regards to research, and you have a lot of career planning here. You have that ability to have mentorship and counsel. You have a very solid structure available most of the time. And I've met most of the students are wonderful, and they kind of like have a very good solid background. I've done research or work, and by the time they enter residency, their background is very solid, and you kind of like they have an aim and they know where they want to go to, and kind of like their career path makes sense. And that's a very high, very good value that we have here. Or then I didn't have, obviously, but I think that medical students have here.
Yeah, definitely. Lots of resources, lots of free resources and good resources.
Which is a blessing.
Blessing. Yeah. So you guys, you finished medical school there. You made the decision to jump up here. How was that whole process? How many residencies did you apply for? And how difficult was it for you to land in the same city? I mean, that in itself is pretty good.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, here's where the stories start being completely different. I didn't speak English at all when we arrived here. We recognize part of the process is like understanding where the mistakes were made or the things that could have been done better.
Sure.
So we kind of like arrived here, part of the necessity of leaving Venezuela 8 years ago. But we kind of like did not have all the information about the process required in order to be able to apply for residency. Not only apply for residency, but also apply and have like a solid application. Because if people tell you, oh, you just need to pass the USMLE steps, the boards, and then that's it.
Sure.
No. You need to have experience. You need to know how to study. So all that stuff. So I didn't even speak English. I thought I had some base. I didn't. So it was a torture for me because I came here not to learn English, but I had to. And then a 30-minute video, right? It would take me like 8 hours to translate.
Rewinding and listening again.
So while she was like going way faster, and the other people that we met from Venezuela or Colombia, other, the, like study partners and people, they were like just going way faster. I was like in the first chapter where people were finishing the first book. Okay.
Yeah, that's hard, right? I mean, that's really hard.
That was tough. But if we arrived to Chicago, it was winter. We had no idea. We had like a very tight schedule. So we ran out of money. I ended up being a janitor. We work at a church. We had a church that was a huge blessing. They are our family. It was the hand of God, literally.
That's so nice. And now your English skills at this point, were they similar to his? You were also learning English at the same time?
No, I had spent some time in the United States learning English before that.
Okay.
So I was a little bit faster than him, just like through the videos and through the studying.
Okay.
Yeah, but then also it's like we were not used to like standardized computer-based tests and all of that. So it was a whole learning for us.
Sure.
And we didn't do like a very good homework or like a research before we arrive. We was more like, well, we need to leave. Well, let's get there and then we'll figure it out.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So once we kind of like understood how the system was, then we were running out of money, and then it was more like survival mode. I did get the opportunity to apply the first time, and I applied and I didn't match. I did not have enough support. I had no idea exactly how to apply. It was my first time writing a personal statement. So you have an idea. I have no idea what a personal statement was.
Sure.
So this is a guy who didn't speak English like 2 years ago, barely spoke a little bit of English. I speak okay, but it's not like my strength. Now I have to write a personal statement, write a CV, and all of that, right? And then demonstrate that I'm good, right? And then interview and be better than the average, right?
Right.
On top of that, then I realized that I was applying to top tier programs only which is okay. You can apply to top tier programs, but then let's be realistic. If you're going to apply to Johns Hopkins only, well,
Right.
I mean, what are the odds, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then obviously I didn't match. And then learn through the process, right? And then we applied the second time. I applied for a second time. It was your first time. And then we matched, but then I matched in Texas. I did not match here at SLU.
Oh, okay.
Are we allowed to say that I'm from SLU? I don't know.
Oh, yeah,
St. Louis,
of course. I love St. Louis University,
okay.
so I can't say enough good things about it.
No,
Yeah.
I already said it. So I matched at Texas Tech, and then Gaby matched at SLU. So then we were 2 years away from each other. And then finally, for my third year, I was able to transfer here because we found an open spot. So that was kind of like my process.
Okay.
Gaby's process is her process, so I'll let her share.
Okay. So you had 2 years break from him then, right? You were in Texas. Or
Yeah.
you were in Texas, right?
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
you were here.
It was tough, yeah.
Yeah, that was tough. Yeah.
So yeah, now how about you? How many programs did you apply for?
For neurology, there are fewer programs than for internal medicine.
yeah.
I applied almost to all of them. I had, I think, like 11, 12 interviews. I ranked them all, and I ranked SLU 6th, and that's where I matched, which is unusual because people usually match in the first 1, 2, 3.
Sure.
So I had very, very good interviews. I think part of it was we interviewed during COVID. So that's the first time the interviews were going on Zoom. And I think programs didn't know how many people to interview. They were interviewing more people than they needed. My mind wants to say that maybe they wanted to interview someone with my profile to say they interview people from another culture, but
Right.
then they didn't rank me. That's where my mind went. But I don't know if it was just kind of the word that was going out was the top programs were interviewing the same people.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah,
And
that's
so
true.
I would see in the meetings, I would see the same candidates over and over.
Oh, okay.
So of course, at the end, when the rank applies, then you're not going to get your first option.
Yeah, that kind of happened to me too.
Yeah.
Even for internal medicine, which is crazy, that they were kind of like interviewing the same people.
So we wanted to be together. That's why we ranked the programs that we had in common together, or the cities that we had in common together.
Like
Sure.
Chicago.
We didn't couples match just because we didn't want to decrease our chances of matching.
Right. Limit yourself. Yeah.
Yes. We're glad we did that because we don't know if.
It would have worked otherwise, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, and then we forgot tragedy. After the match, we didn't start.
No.
Tragedy happened.
Our work permits didn't go through just because
Government was
COVID.
shut down.
Yeah.
Oh, your visa.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we waited 10 months. Our programs were kind enough to wait for us, but then there was a point where they were like, we cannot wait for you any longer. We need interns.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
They were covering for us. It was just a mess. And then our programs decided to defer our contracts for the next year. And so
Okay.
that is a possibility to anyone who has
You
a
never
similar.
know. I mean,
Yeah.
you never know. The next pandemic, could be around the
Exactly.
corner, right? You don't know what's
or
going to
not
happen.
necessarily the next pandemic. It could be also a situation pertinent to one single person.
Anything with
Yeah.
immigration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the
So
immigration's a big
actually,
thing.
this is important to say for anyone who's out there. So it's called a 1-year deferral and is protected by the National Residency Matching Program, the NRMP. So basically what happened was, I remember my program told me, hey, we're going to need to release you from the match. And then they reach out to them and the NRMP said, well, before you release him from the match, you need to offer him this 1-year deferral. And if he accepts, then that's what you do. And then if not, then he signs basically the breakup,
Sure.
the release. And I accepted. And they were happy. They actually wanted to keep me. And then as soon as I heard about that and when I signed, I told her, talk to your program. And that's what she did. So yes, the 1-year deferral
And what happened in that 1 year in the
Well,
time?
we waited. Then we thought we were going to lose it because even though we signed the 1 year deferral, so it's basically they keep you for the next cycle, almost like if you match the next year, right?
And they maintain your status.
They maintain your right.
Mhm.
Then the USCIS, which is the
Sure.
Office for
Immigration.
Immigration,
Mhm.
almost made us wait till like May or April. Mine came a little bit earlier than yours.
Mhm.
We thought I got mine, and then we were waiting for yours, and we were like, "Are you gonna lose the deferral as well?" And then you got it. So you got it, and then we started. Yeah, but yeah.
Wow. Yeah, they make you sweat a little bit, right?
Yeah, oh,
Yeah.
that was like a whole thing. That was
Welcome
like,
to the US. Yeah.
We reached out to congressmen and everything. It was like another thing, but yeah.
So you landed at St. Louis University. Great place with great
Great
people.
place.
I mean,
Hey.
right? It's such a great place.
Yeah.
I think they have some truly wonderful people there.
Physicians, only want to be contacted by recruiters who know your specific professional interests? Simply call and speak with a PracticeLink physician specialist, and we'll help you create your free profile and pair you with only the job opportunities that you're interested in. Visit PracticeLink.com to get started today.
So how was first year? Was it tough? How was the whole transition?
Well, we were learning the system, basically. We didn't know how healthcare worked here. We had never used not only Epic, but we had never used a computer to record any information. We used to just
computer
like
for
handwrite.
electronic medical records.
Yeah,
Right.
No,
Not
yeah,
a
of course.
computer.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
had used computers
say
before,
that.
yes.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
We don't have computers, you guys, in Venezuela. I mean,
Right.
Venezuela's not doing great, but we do have computers. We know what Apple is and
Yeah.
the other brands, HP, well, whatever. The other, well, Android and the other ones. So we know those things.
Yeah, so learning the system was quite difficult. We had some time of gap, of course, while we were studying and all of this.
Your anxiety level has to be elevated, right?
yes.
You have to be nervous every day walking in there that first month. Some people say that anxiety never goes away, right? But I mean, I can't imagine what you would be feeling that first week, that first month, that first year.
Yeah. And the imposter syndrome, that was my main issue. If you talk to me the first few months of residency, I would tell you for certain that I was the worst resident in the whole hospital. There had to be one, and it was me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I felt that,
Just the
that I was
self-doubt.
behind.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was so tough.
So do you feel more anxious the first year?
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
worse for you?
for sure.
Okay, interesting.
And it's good that at least you had each other. Because a lot of folks I talk to, it's very lonely also. Their
Well,
first
we
year
were
was very
away,
lonely.
though. We still were away, so that was
Well, that's true,
that
too.
was the thing for the
That's true. You were
relationship.
kind of still on your own a little bit.
That was a challenge because it was like if any of us had a bad day, then obviously it was like we are a plane away. It's not like I'll be there after work.
right.
You know?
Or even a couple
Or
hours.
I'll grab takeout and we'll get dinner. It's not like that. To me, initially the first year was more about the excitement. My first rotation was nights.
Okay.
So they dropped me at nights, but I was not alone. So I had my senior resident. So they treat me really well. To me, the anxiety was more like second year, the initial week, because then I was alone, taking care of the whole service.
Sure.
No intern or anything. It's just me. So that one hit me a little bit more.
That hit you hard, right?
Yeah.
It's the whole realization of, oh,
Yeah.
this is what
Yeah,
I'm...
but first year is tough because the first 6 months you need to learn everything, the system, how things work, and you need to observe a lot and be very responsible. And also you get to know yourself a lot. The second half is you need to get really sharp with more like your medical knowledge and make sure you're efficient. You don't stay behind because it's more like prepare for second year. And then I would say second year, at least for me, because it's internal medicine only, it's for you, then you're going to explain it. It's a little bit different. Second year of internal medicine is, if you can say this, is the year which you make a name. That's the year in which I would say the attendings and everyone else will know who you are.
Sure.
That's when you're a senior. That's when you start making decisions really, and see if like if you're really capable of managing something. And then by the third year, you might not be able to change your name, or like or reputation wise.
Exactly. Yeah, that makes sense.
So third year is more like a consolidation, but complete in terms of like being ready enough to go out. Okay, not ready forever. Just be ready enough to be out.
Sure.
So that's the way I would describe it. Yeah. But neurology is different.
Yeah, so in the case of neurology, you basically have 2 intern years because
Right.
you have to have the year of internship in internal medicine, and then the second year would be the first year of neurology.
Sure.
It's well known that the worst year in neurology is the second year. In terms of, in our program, you start doing your 28-hour calls alone, and it's a lot of pressure. I think it's very important that by that point, you have your life together. And when I say this, I mean you have to have a base that can hold you because you're not going to have a life. So exercise, if you're religious and your
Church, yeah. Church
your
life.
Bible, your whatever, have a circle of people you can talk to and you reach out to whenever you're down or anxious. So have support, community, have a living space that's what you like, clean, or if you don't like it clean, it's your thing.
Right, yeah, but yeah.
Something where you feel comfortable. You're only going to go home and sleep. But if you feel comfortable in your environment, that also helps you. And eating well. I know that's really hard, but if you plan ahead, like for example, plan your meals for the week, etc., and like try to eat healthy, you can do it. And I think that's very important for your mental health. I learned that a little bit late in my second year, but I realized that's what was important. It's so basic. It's what helped me.
That's so perfect, too, because something I typically ask a lot of residents who come on the show is first year, I get a lot of response that it's a very lonely year. A lot of residents, especially international medical graduates, they come in, they may not have family, they may not know anyone. They start out and they're working long hours, and it's hard to not be lonely because you're just constantly working, coming home, eating and sleeping, and you may not have that network yet. So that's great advice, I think. I think that you have to kind of set your mind to, one guest said, they set their mind to being integrated into the community. They didn't look at it as I'm only here for a couple of years or 3 years for residencies, but they looked at it as I'm here today, so I'm part of the community. I'm going to seek out community people and community events. So they just kind of ingrained themselves in the community, right, to keep themselves from being lonely. The gym is always the way to kind of keep your mind and body together, I think. And
I will say a couple tips I have. I know SLU has a counselor that's free.
Okay.
And I think most programs do offer some kind of help for residents. Even if you're not down, start early before you need it.
That's true. That's true.
And the second thing is, so know that alcohol makes you down. I say this because, I love wine. I love having a glass of wine when I get home.
Yep.
And a lot of times it's just like unwinding, you relax. But when you're on a high stress or high anxiety moment, it can not help you that way. And the next day you're always a little bit down, and this accumulates. So keeping an eye on how many times a week are you needing that glass of wine or beer or whatever you're into, and the reason you're having it. Is it just to relax or is it to forget? I say this, I'm not an alcoholic, but you can get there. And, I have a lot of co-residents who I see that are a little bit more in need of it emotionally.
Yeah, I've seen people too. It's residents, I don't know, about fellowship, but I know that in residency, and surgical residencies too are very tough. But residency in general, your lifestyle can go really down. You can have an unhealthy
Sure.
life.
Oh,
and
yeah.
You need to take care of that. I think that another tip would be, I was going to say, I like what you said about getting involved with the community. I saw my co-interns struggle a little bit with that because a lot of them arrived after matching. And one of the advantages of figuring it out when we came here, like let's just arrive to the U.S. and then we'll figure it out, was that we had to adapt to the community and
Right.
and the
Right.
country, right? So
Yeah.
maybe one of the purposes of me going to Texas, there was a group of friends that I made there that they didn't even know what a FICO was.
Right.
You
right,
know,
yeah.
I took them to get a lease or to finance their first car or go to the bank and get a credit. And it's like, no, you're not going to sign that. So it's important to get used to and not look at the residency just as a matter of a 3-year. And only, your life is not only about residency, because I have seen people going all in since day one, and you see them being extremely excited, which is not bad being super excited, and they enroll and sign up for absolutely everything, and they say, I want to become like super specialized, and they tell you they're going to do 3 fellowships and they're going to get a master's, PhD, and this, and they want to be chief resident, and they sign up for all the committees and everything. By December, they tell you they quit everything.
They're burned out.
They burn out, and they said,
Yeah.
I want to have a week on, week off schedule, which is, there is nothing wrong with that. But ideally, you shouldn't get to that conclusion by burning out.
Right. You be realistic in the beginning.
Just
Yeah.
know yourself, give yourself time, and do not compete against others necessarily. We all grow at different paces and
Sure.
at different times.
hmm
I remember it took me, I was one of the last interns to start doing procedures. Like I started like in February or something. And everyone was like already 2, 3, 5, 6. I ended up being I think I was the one who ended up doing the most by the
Yep.
time I left my first program. It doesn't mean that or anything. It's just like, things get to the point that if you're good in something, people will realize. And by the way, you might be good, but maybe you don't like it.
Right.
So just give yourself time and don't sign up for everything. Give yourself the opportunity to rest, to sleep, to watch a series, a TV show, to study, and to sleep.
Yeah.
That's also very important. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Very.
can talk about sleep. That's a
Oh,
huge
sleep
one,
is
yeah.
extremely
Oh, yeah, sleep is
It's
yeah, sleep.
extremely important.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's
And
probably eating healthy, sleeping, doing exercise, and
avoiding
not-
the cafeteria at the hospital,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. And if you are tired, you haven't eaten, if you made like a silly mistake or something, do not drive. By all means.
Mhm.
Don't drive. Take an Uber. Pay the $10, $15.
Mhm.
Pay. Leave your car in the hospital
Yep.
or at home that day. Ask for a sick leave if you need to go to work and you feel okay, because then patient safety is extremely important. Your well-being is extremely important, so then you can help people. You can put anyone in danger. But then when you sign out and if it's time to go home, if you're like misplacing your keys and you're making like silly mistakes, you kind of like get lost, you're kind of like disoriented because you're extremely tired, you haven't eaten, you're either ask someone to take you home, don't drive. I've seen so many accidents.
Yep.
You know, sometimes they're really silly, sometimes they're not. So that's also really important.
Yeah. How can you take care of others if you don't take care of yourself,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
At the end of the day. Great advice so far. So
Yeah.
I think this is just
Sorry, I think
great
we went a little bit
information.
off topic. I don't know. Sorry.
No. I mean, that's the whole point of it. You know, it's more just casual talking and sharing. And I think that, a lot of people can benefit from everything that you two are saying. So, St. Louis, that's where you're currently living and working. What's next for you guys? What are you thinking? So you're here because your residency is still, you still have 2 years? Is that right? Is it a 5-year residency?
A year and a half, it's 4.
Oh, it's 4.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm applying to neuro-oncology.
Okay.
There's no neuro-oncology in fellowship in St. Louis.
Right.
So my dream is Northwestern in Chicago, if the program director is listening.
Hey, Northwestern, hey. Speak louder so they can hear you. Hey, Northwestern.
Northwestern. Yeah, so we want to go back to Chicago, but he's going to be done this year, this June. So he'll be taking a little bit of a gap before fellowship because he wants to do a master's. I don't know. Have you decided between research and clinical?
The short answer is no. Between clinical research and public health, I met a fantastic physician from Johns Hopkins.
Oh, I knew Johns Hopkins was going to come up as soon as you said public health.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, you know.
They have a reputation. Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And then I told him about my plan. He's not even a cardiologist. He's an nephrologist, so he's the enemy. No, he's not the enemy. But do you know the joke behind the cardiologists and nephrologists kind of like
hate each other?
Kind of like hate each other.
Oh.
Because cardiologists, they just want to give diuretics to like make the patient urinate to get the volume out, so the heart it has like easy work. But that kind of like dehydrates the patient, kind of like decreases the volume in the water.
Oh, right.
And it kind of like makes the kidneys dry and angry.
Uh-huh.
So the
I see. Yeah.
less humidity for the kidneys. So then the nephrologist wants the kidneys like very humid and hydrated and full of water and stuff. So
oh yeah.
So anyway, he told me he's brilliant. He's a legend basically, and he told me. What do you want to do clinical research if you're not really going to dedicate your entire life to research? Why don't you do public health? We have a wonderful public health department, and if you want to do cardiology, etc. So, but he has a great argument, actually. So I think that in the end, one of the main things will be where I go. I haven't decided yet. So where we go, because we kind of want to play the role, want to wait a little bit to see if she ends up maybe going to Northwestern. I might just try to be in Chicago. Well, we'll see if I stay here, whatever, right? So I might decide later which one I'll do.
Well, let me see if you want to answer any of these questions. What about advice for financial planning? Anything about that?
Yeah.
This is an endless topic. I mean, it really is endless. We have people all over the spectrum when it comes to this.
So this is not legal advice. Do not please cut this from what I want to say.
Disclaimer.
Mm-hmm. Knock, knock, disclaimer, okay?
Yeah.
I am not an advisor. I need an advisor. We kind of like have relationships with 2 advisors. One, we need to catch up. As immigrants who really do not know the system, I think it's extremely important. But basically, and by the way, I know that there's certain cultural and religious differences that might make people take different decisions, okay?
Sure. Mm-hmm.
So during residency, I think that all the time, spend less at what you make. Important, don't buy the most expensive car. If you don't really need to drive that much, maybe consider buying something used or something like that. If you are maybe willing to have a roommate, that could be a great thing. If you're a couple or if you're married, if you have a roommate, I mean, that would be amazing. If you're married and both are physicians like Gaby and I, that's great because we only pay for one rent. And actually, that made our finances way better because it's just one apartment and one set of utilities and that stuff, okay? We've been through our expenses like 2 or 3 times in the last 6 months. I would say we are able to keep at least 25%, 30% of what we make.
Okay.
And that we dedicate to make an emergency fund.
Sure.
To help our families. We do have people that we need to help right now. So that is that, okay? We do have some fund that if some kind of like emergency happens, we can just go ahead and do it. We also went on vacation. It was not like if we were millionaires, but we also felt it was like super awesome. We went 9 days to New York. We did basically everything we wanted to do. Okay, very comfortable.
And again, I think that goes back to your well-being.
So yeah,
Right.
right.
You get a step away from all of it.
Exactly.
Oh,
So
that's another tip that I forgot to give. Don't stay here during your vacation.
Oh, no.
Please
Go somewhere.
Go somewhere.
Yeah.
so definitely that. We were already in residency when we got married, so we were able to afford our wedding. We did not go above, so we're not in debt for a wedding. Don't get in debt for your wedding.
And it's harder for you guys. The good thing is you don't come out with student loans. That's an international medical graduate.
That's
The hard part is having the money up front, I'm sure.
Yes.
Right? Paying for everything up front is hard.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is now we are in that kind of like stage in which we are planning and how to hold our emotions and how to be emotionally intelligent. When I get to sign my attending contract and again she gets to sign her attending contract and that stuff.
Yep.
Because that's also extremely important.
Yep.
Okay, I'm reading certain books, okay, like understanding what is an asset, what is a liability, understanding what's the American system, what is compound interest, ways to protect your wealth, and get some experts. And then I would suggest this. If you consult an expert that maybe has some sort of like relationship with someone you trust.
Sure.
That also shares your values.
Yep.
So the people we have reached out, one is the best friend. So we mentioned church. In our case, we're both Christians. We're absolutely okay with what any one of you believe. But both of the advisors that we have reached out are friends of friends from church. And they're like, they have a relationship over 15 years.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. Right.
So
part of that community that you
kind
built.
of like a community, but also understanding certain values and being upfront. This is where we draw the lines, and they kind of like that's fine because it's the same lines they draw too. So
Yep.
this is very important.
Yep.
So that's where we are at. Okay. So I would suggest just start with that, and then the sky's the limit. If you want to invest in this or that, then that's
Yep.
up to you and what you want to do with your money.
Yeah.
Right.
It's hard. Everybody's path is different, and
Yeah.
everybody's going to go on a different path.
I would suggest try not to, as soon as you sign a big contract, the people, they make a joke, kind of like a stereotype. You get into a German car.
Yep.
Like a German vehicle is the first thing that the doctors do.
Mhm.
And then maybe try not to do that. Try not to do it right away. If you invest the first 5-10 years and kind of like settle all of that,
Yes.
then the return is going to be, you're going to be settled for the rest of your life, basically.
Yeah.
If everything is okay. And then maybe protecting your family, at least in the meantime, unless you have like a huge returns of any passive income like real estate or something like that, but maybe you want to have some life insurance or something like that. In the beginning we have. Also, one thing that I would advise, she knows what I want. God forbid something very tragic happens to me, and I know what she wants. Okay? I think that's also a very important conversation.
Sure.
That's also part of our planning. So
Yeah.
we also did that already. So
Yeah. Good advice. Good advice.
Physicians, have you finished training and now you're job hunting? PracticeLink.com's Resource Center is packed with free tools to help. From creating your CV, interview prep, and even tips to ace that site visit, we've got you all covered. Visit PracticeLink.com's Resource Center today, and while you're there, create your free account to connect with employers and view exclusive job opportunities.
Is there anything else that you would want to say to anyone thinking about medical school or a medical student or resident? Anything you would like for them to know or anything you want to say to them? Encouraging words, mistakes made, anything that you want to say to them, to anybody that might be listening? It's not an easy journey. I mean, and especially for you, the international medical graduate, I mean, I have so much respect for you already for where you are today. We have all these free resources, and I think sometimes we tend to not take advantage of things because they're just there our whole lives. And, you know, when I have people from other countries who come in and you appreciate all of those things because you may not have had them before, right? Those free resources.
I will say, if you're thinking about going into medical school to help people, I don't think that's the only reason that you should choose it. I mean, what I'm saying is anywhere you go, you can help people. In any career, in any job that you do, you can find a way to help people. You don't need to be a physician to help people. You have to be passionate about science. You have to be passionate about learning about the human body, about diseases, to be able to go through all of this. It's not just to help people. Helping people is a great outcome of putting your passion into work.
Yes, that makes sense.
But it's not enough. I will say it's a super gratifying field. I think of all the people who hate their jobs, like drag the morning routine because they don't want to go to work. And that doesn't exist, I feel, in our career because it's so gratifying. By the end, you're doing something amazing for the world and for yourself. And I think we're lucky to be in this career. As you said, it's tough. It's a tough path. It's worth it. I will say it's worth it. I will not say it gets easier.
And the learning never stops, right? It will never stop. The learning will never stop. So that's a good thing.
For sure. But if you enjoy what you're doing, it is easy to do it.
I think that the sooner we start trying to find the purpose or our purpose in life, and each thing that happens to us or each thing that we are doing, understanding that that is serving a greater purpose rather than focusing at the goal. So if we're like less goal oriented and more purpose oriented, the sooner we do that, the sooner we will start receiving the gratification of what we do. I started being happy and joyful for the first time in my life when I understood that. When we are goal-oriented, and I'm not saying that I'm against having goals.
Sure, goals are part of the whole process.
Goals can make you miserable because when you don't achieve them, and when you try and you're not achieving them, you forget about other things. You can forget about yourself, your health, all type of health, right? Organic, mental, social health, everything. Your family, everyone, right?
Sure.
And that's a very common personality to have with physicians. I think it's
extremely
common to be like that.
People in science, because we tend to be not only physicians, engineers, people in science in general, high achievers, right? We tend to be achievers, right? And we also we set a timeline. I need to get there in this, right? So then you start forgetting about other things, and then you can hurt people, you hurt yourself, kids, if you have kids, and you're miserable because you're not achieving that. And then once you achieve what you were trying to get, then you don't have anything. Because that's it. The goal is just that moment, and then emptiness comes from that. But if you have purpose, you're in constant understanding of why you're doing what you're doing. And even if you don't understand immediately what's going on, you have inner peace knowing that at some point you'll know, you know? So, I didn't know, I have a senior talk coming up at SLU, and I realized 2-3 years ago when I applied for the second time, the second time I applied that I did match, I realized why I did martial arts. And martial arts was my preparation for life and for medicine. I have a huge lecture, well, not a huge lecture, oh my God, that's so egocentric. I have a lecture explaining the resemblance between the journey of a martial artist, traditional martial artist, not what you have right now, like Asian, and going to medicine. It's very similar. That was the purpose of and I figured that out almost 15 years later. So I went to Texas because I had to meet some people there. Became really important. There were some things in the way our relationship grew from being apart.
I mean, I'm a firm believer in everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
And I think that if you allow yourself to absorb the experience, when you look back, you'll say, oh, that's why that happened. It comes true every day.
And I see that, and then just to finalize the idea, and I'm saying this because I think that that's one of the things that make us more immature as students, physicians in training, and then that's one of the things that we admire the most from these physicians, attendees, professors who are like in the 60s, 65, 70s. I don't think I haven't met a physician in their 60s. I mean, I'm not saying everyone is the same, but I personally haven't met a doctor in their 60s counting the days for retirement.
Right.
They just see everything from a different perspective. They understand their purpose. They understand the purpose.
Oh, I know physicians well into their 70s still practicing. So
And sometimes they just retire because maybe the specialty that they had, it was like just extremely demanding, but they're still in there, maybe as a mentor.
Sure.
As it's like in the honorary director or something, they still involved somehow. Because maybe they just cannot be in the OR anymore, right? They still want to be involved somehow, right?
Yeah. Oh, sure.
So I think that would be my advice. Understand purpose, give more weight to that, and have your goals to be there. It's important to make you achieve what you want, certain things, but purpose is really what is going to give you fulfillment.
And
I love
you
it.
start appreciating the details in every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, and every day.
Yeah.
I have my mentor in residency. He's amazing, and he's a great physician, but he says that what he does, he's an interventional neurologist, so that what he does in the suite is not doctoring. That doctoring is being next to the patient, holding their hand, taking care of their hearts, of what they want, listening to them. That's doctoring. And when you're like on the go thinking that what you need to do is just fix that body,
Right.
you forget about the human, and the experience becomes terrible for the patient and terrible for you too. So
Very true. I mean,
Yeah.
that's so true. Yeah.
So appreciating those details, keeping in mind that that patient is a person and that you're going to help them. That's sometimes something we forget.
Right. So busy running tests and getting
Yeah.
results and
Yeah.
so much going on outside of the.
Yeah.
Yeah. I try to focus on that and tell patients, you're not a number, you're not a disease, you're not a condition.
Right.
Or sometimes like we might not be able to like, what is the most important thing? What is your expectation? These things help, let's work together. There are many ways to approach that.
Sure.
And it's different for each patient. And it's different for the same patient in a different time.
Yeah.
That if you keep that in mind, you can always check the literature or an up-to-date or something quickly later. You can, because information is there. Obviously, you need to know medicine. But if you don't have the latest guideline right now, or what's the name of this medication, whatever, you can always check it out.
Right. You can
The
always.
patient will not care about that in
Right.
the moment. So
Yeah.
the patient and the family will care more about the fact that you're listening to them and you're being a human.
You're there. You're
Yeah.
you're present in the
That's
moment.
way more important. And they do know.
You're not going to be able to tailor their experience if you don't know what they want. Because,
Yeah.
some patients want just to hear all of the facts. Some patients don't care about the facts. They want to know what's next.
Sure.
And things like that. And if you treat everyone the same, you'd have to tailor their experience, and you cannot do it if you don't listen to them.
Sure.
One rotation that helped me a lot was geriatrics, because in geriatrics you see a lot of, grandpa, grandma, sometimes great.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
But you need to ask them, how was your life right before you came to the hospital? And I met like people in their 90s. Like yesterday, I was driving, doing my groceries. I have a bar. So that is different. The expectations of that person is that they're going to go out walking. It's not like the grandpa, grandma who has had like 3 strokes,
Right. Right. Big
3,
difference.
4, or 5-time bypass, had cardiac arrest, doesn't move half of their body, and it cannot breathe. That's the expectation is completely different. So if you just focus on the numbers, it's like
Yep.
you actually might hurt people. You might hurt them.
Yep.
Literally, you can hurt them because you might be pushing for stuff. What if they just don't even want them?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Purpose.
Purpose.
Yeah.
Purpose. Yeah.
You need to go back to purpose. What's
Yeah.
the purpose? What are you doing here? Yeah. And believe it or not, that might give you a better reputation in front of your mentors, in front of your instructors, because the instructor most likely will try to determine that first.
Sure.
They don't want to know if that 80, 90-year-old person was walking before or not. Because they know that that's going to change the plan completely. And if you present something and it's like, hold on, that's not feasible.
Mhm.
And the family doesn't want to, and the patient said already the patient doesn't want any of it. So what are you doing? It's just looking at the numbers, right?
Yeah.
So what's your purpose here? You just need to be a healer, a companion for them, right? The role of a physician is completely different. Yeah.
Yeah. It's great. I love it. I love it. I love it. I thank you both for being here. I would love for you guys to come back. I mean, we can talk for days, I think.
I can.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, me too.
Everyone knows.
Me too. I love it.
Good thing it's not in Spanish.
Oh, right.
I like that. Don't stop.
But yeah, I wish you both all the best. And we're here if we can do anything for you to help. Of course, we're here for you. And I hope you stay in touch. And like I said, I would love for you to come back and be on the show again.
Thank you
so
for
much.
Yeah.
Thank you.